Before we jump into today's courtroom proceedings, what you're about to hear is not a typical criminal case, civil dispute, or dramatic sentencing. Instead, this is a fascinating behind-the-scenes look at a debate that's affecting courts across the country. Should courtroom proceedings be live-streamed for the public to see? Or does that transparency come with risks that could harm the very people the justice system is supposed to protect? In this hearing, Judge Middleton addresses a controversy that sparked a massive public reaction. Just days earlier, viewers learned that the court's live streams might be shut down, and the response was immediate. Emails poured in. Attorneys weighed in. Members of the public expressed concern that access to courtroom proceedings could disappear. But then something unexpected happened. Conversations took place behind the scenes with court administrators, prosecutors, and judicial leaders, and those discussions appear to have changed the course of events. As you listen, pay attention to the competing interests being discussed. On one side is transparency, the idea that justice should be visible to the public. On the other side are concerns about privacy, victims' rights, and whether courtroom proceedings can sometimes become entertainment rather than education. It's a balancing act that courts everywhere continue to wrestle with. What's especially interesting is that the judge openly discusses criticism, public feedback, and even his own concerns about how these live streams affect litigants and complainants. You'll also hear references to a judge from another court whose conduct allegedly remained hidden from public view until much later, raising an important question. Would public access have made a difference? So here's something to think about as we begin. Should courtrooms embrace complete transparency whenever possible, or are there situations where privacy deserves greater protection? Let us know what you think as we follow this remarkable discussion about public access, accountability, and the future of courtroom live streams.
Good morning. This is Judge Middleton at 3B District Court in Centerville. Today is Thursday, the 20th of May, and I'd just like to give a little message here this morning and explain what's going to happen. Many of you know that we'd received information requesting that we stopped our live stream, but continue certainly to conduct court. So on Monday, which would have been May 17th, I gave an explanation of what was happening and why we were shutting down the live feed. And it got a very large reaction. Many people have watched that. I've received many emails, cards, voice messages, thanking us for giving our live streams and doing what we were doing. Very nice. I got a nice one this morning from an attorney here in Michigan thanking us for providing that service. So after we did that, I had indicated I was going to at least give an explanation for why we were turning it off. And I said what I had to say, and I was prepared to move forward. The next day, I got a call from our state court administrator here in Michigan, and he is a very capable man who I consider a friend. I've known him for more than 30 years. Importantly, he was at one time a prosecuting attorney like I was, and also importantly, he was a district judge, a very good one, here in Michigan before he became the state court administrator. So he called me late in the day and we had a good conversation, and he urged me to restart the live feed and continue to broadcast our court proceedings to the general public. Now, the Michigan Supreme Court, and some of this was quoted by our Chief Justice McCormick in one of the articles that I mentioned, is really strongly in favor of transparency and openness in the conducting of our courts. They do not want to be known as a court that would limit or restrict access to the public. And so I asked the administrator, well, what do I do? He said, well, tell them we apologize for any misunderstanding and that we encourage you to restart your live feed. So I said I would think about it for a couple of days. I had a very good conversation with our local prosecuting attorney, David Marvin, He took office in January and is doing an excellent job. And I wanted to discuss this with him because, like me, he has a concern about the litigants. His concern is also, in addition, about the victims. And he is in favor of returning to the live stream. I mentioned this in my remarks on Monday that we aren't very far away from simply opening the courts back up here in Michigan. And when that happens, this may stop. We may just be an open court. But we have a window right now where we are doing these live streams, and I see it, and the court sees it, the Supreme Court sees it as an opportunity to educate people and inform people as to how the courts operate. There was a colleague of ours here in Michigan who was known to be very abusive to people in their court. That judge was ultimately, for other reasons, removed from office. And I saw a television report. The county that judge sat in, they had an opportunity for people to come in and comment. And the courtroom was standing room only with people who had been in that court that felt they had been abused and treated unfairly. And people, after people got up and tearfully expressed their bad experience at appearing in that court. If that had been live streamed, people would have seen it. People would have had access to understand it and perhaps be outraged by it. But it wasn't, and maybe that's part of the lesson.
This is one of the most important moments in the judge's statement. Notice how he acknowledges a criticism that many people have raised whenever court proceedings are broadcast online. At what point does public education become public entertainment? That's not a simple question. Courts exist to administer justice, not to create viral content. Yet transparency naturally attracts attention, especially when viewers witness real people dealing with real consequences. What's interesting here is that the judge doesn't completely reject the entertainment aspect. Instead, he suggests that education and engagement can coexist. From a legal perspective, transparency often strengthens public confidence because people can actually see how decisions are made rather than relying on assumptions or headlines. At the same time, critics argue that cameras can influence behavior, encourage grandstanding, or expose vulnerable individuals to unwanted attention. So, where should that line be drawn? If a live stream helps the public better understand the legal system, is that a benefit even if some viewers watch primarily for entertainment? Or does the risk to participants outweigh the educational value? Share your thoughts below because this debate extends far beyond a single courtroom.
Maybe that's part of the lesson. Some people had concerns that these presentations had become more entertainment than education. And I don't know where to draw that line. Jimmy Buffett says it's a fine line between Saturday night and Sunday morning. Well, it's a fine line between education and entertainment. People can be educated as well as entertained. So we have this window of maybe several more weeks or months to do this. And many of you have started to watch this channel. As I mentioned, there are a number of other judges live streaming. But here in our county, we conduct our business as best we can. And the court administrator told me to just do what you do. Conduct your court proceedings as you have conducted them. But people ought to be able to watch it and understand it and perhaps be enlightened, informed, outraged. I'll try not to be outrageous, but at least know that it's not some secret thing that's only conducted behind closed doors. It's a matter for public acceptance and understanding. Now, one of the concerns I mentioned was the issue regarding complainants, litigants, other people that are in the proceeding. I discussed that with Prosecutor Marvin. So we may make some changes. We will make some changes. We're going to do the segments in smaller pieces. instead of hours at a time. They may be broken up into smaller segments. We may identify the parties only by first name and last initial. And we will be leaving the videos only up for about 7 days and then removing them. And that will give people an opportunity.
Now we're hearing the practical solutions the court intends to implement, and these details matter. Rather than treating transparency as an all-or-nothing issue, the judge is describing safeguards designed to protect the people appearing before the court. Limiting how long videos remain online, reducing identifying information, and modifying how participants are displayed are all attempts to strike a balance between public access and personal privacy. Legally speaking, courts often have to weigh competing interests. The public generally has a right to observe judicial proceedings, but that right isn't absolute. Judges also have a responsibility to protect victims, witnesses, and litigants from unnecessary harm. What we're seeing here is an effort to preserve openness while minimizing potential negative consequences. There's another notable point. The judge openly acknowledges concerns about judicial comments and public perception. That level of self-awareness is unusual and reveals how closely these live streams are being scrutinized. Do you think these safeguards go far enough, or should courts impose even stricter protections when proceedings are broadcast online? Let us know where you stand.
We'll give people an opportunity to watch the proceedings, to perhaps gain some trust in the legal process, maybe learn something. We're also going to try to be more careful about bringing people into the forum. Right now, you can't change a screen name until after you bring them in. We're going to work on that. And certainly it's not fair to the litigants if the judge is going to disparage them. So I'll try not to call people idiots or fools. But certainly things happen that we don't expect on a daily basis. And so we react to those and we deal with them as they occur. So for all of you who have sent us positive and supportive messages, we thank you very much. For those of you that subscribe to this channel, thank you for that. As I indicated, we don't get any monetization of this. There's no royalty or anything that comes to me or the court. But I'm pleased that you want to watch this and you want to try to understand how the system works, both here for our local people and people around the world that are watching this. So we have a very light docket today, and tomorrow we will be restarting our live feed next Monday morning with a full docket of civil matters, criminal matters, landlord-tenant, and then we will go back into our regular docket presentation, at least until we're told that the courts will be completely open. The Michigan Supreme Court wants people to know that our courts are open, accessible, and hopefully can be a tool for people to understand and learn about how the court process is supposed to happen. So, I will see you on Monday. Thank you.
This concludes a remarkable discussion about transparency, accountability, and public trust in the judicial system. Rather than announcing the end of courtroom live streams, Judge Middleton explained that after consulting with court leadership and local prosecutors, the decision was made to continue providing public access while implementing additional safeguards. The central message throughout the statement is that courts function best when the public can observe, understand, and evaluate the justice system for themselves. The judge also addressed concerns about privacy, victim protection, and the possibility that courtroom broadcasts could drift from education into entertainment. His proposed solution is a middle ground: maintain transparency while introducing measures intended to reduce unnecessary exposure for those involved in court proceedings. The broader implication reaches far beyond this single courtroom. As technology continues to reshape public access to government institutions, courts everywhere may face similar questions about openness, accountability, and fairness. The conversation is far from over. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.